Captain Marvel does not deserve all the hate it's getting, but also doesn't deserve the love. Let me objectively explain. Welcome to the objective review of Marvel's latest movie, Captain Marvel. And in objective review, I like to break the movie down into 6 categories and assign weights to them depending on the genre to have the most honest, unbiased, objective review as possible. So let's start with the first category of story.
So Skrulls are the bad guys.
The story follows Vers, an agent of Kree, which is a star-crossed group of warrior heroes who keep peace in the universe, and they seem to be at constant war with the Skrulls, which is a group of aliens who can shapeshift into anyone. Our main character, Vers, or Captain Marvel, she has amnesia. She doesn't really know who she is, and the plot starts off as them trying to beat this war. They're trying to beat the Skrulls somewhere on Earth to really find something, and honestly, it's a little all tangled up and it's a little bit hard to follow. When this movie starts, they just jump you into this movie, they throw a couple exposition at you, and some of it doesn't really land. One of the things I absolutely did love about the movie was the character Captain Marvel and how she needs to find out who she is, and she's going through that journey and just remembering and kind of becoming that person. And I think that's what upset me about the first half of this movie, is that she's very stuck in one position. But then the second half of the movie hits, we get introduced to a character in her past life, and then the movie picks up a lot from there and it starts to get a lot more interesting. There's a couple different twists and turns. I will say the villain here is really stereotypical Marvel villains. The story isn't all that nuanced and is fairly mediocre. Speaking of Marvel, this movie has way too many Marvel tie-ins, if that makes sense. Like, it tries to connect way too many dots to future Marvel movies. Like, I don't need to know how Samuel L. Jackson got his scar on his face, and especially because it was such a stupid reason. Like, they did it pretty much how Solo did it. Like, they didn't learn from that, which they probably didn't, because I'm sure this movie was written before that came out, but it just reminds me a lot of that. Like, I don't need to know all these stupid things. It's almost like they didn't have enough story to tell, so they shove all this stuff in there. But all in all, the story was serviceable. Give it a 7.5 out of 10. Next is on to emotion.
I keep having these memories. Something in my past is the key to all of this.
For me, there's only one emotional scene in this movie, and it involves Maria Rambeau. Like, when she gets introduced, she completely elevates the movie, because her relationship with Carol Danvers really puts into perspective just how much Carol Danvers means to her and what a great person she is. But everyone else pretty much gets a C on emotion. Like, I felt really none of it from anyone else, maybe a little bit from Captain Marvel in this movie. So give emotion a 7.5 out of 10. Next is on to action.
I'm gonna end it.
Sad to say, the action in this movie was very subpar, especially for this day and age in superhero movies. And the fight scenes were just really close up and just really cut and chopped up. It was poorly executed, poorly choreographed and edited. Those fight scenes just weren't good at all. I think her flying scenes as Captain Marvel were done really well. Like, that was really cool. It wasn't a big part. There was some nice fighter pilot scenes in here, so it added a new dimension to, I think, action scenes overall. So for action, it gets a 6.5 out of 10. Next is on to comedy.
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Fury.
What's cute? I'll be back.
The comedy in this movie is very reminiscent of Thor: The Dark World. I mean, only about 20% of the jokes actually land, and they really try and tell a lot of jokes. And I feel like they even leave a little pause moment there for the crowd to kind of laugh at it. And in my theater, at least, not that many people were laughing. Don't get me wrong, I did chuckle at like 2 moments. I had some good chuckles, but there just weren't that many there. I had to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Next is on to acting.
Stronger, superior. You were reborn.
When it comes to acting, Brie Larson did a pretty good job as Captain Marvel. I really liked her. She had a little spunk to her. She was still strong. She was still fierce. She was very serviceable. Samuel Jackson can literally do this in his sleep if he needed to. And honestly, I don't get his acting here compared to his acting in future movies. A huge departure in his characterization. But the real MVP here again is Maria Rambeau, played by Lashana Lynch. Like I said before, she did a great job acting, really conveying how much Carol Danvers really means to her. So for acting, it's a 7.5 out of 10. As is on to directing.
Your life began the day it nearly ended. We found you. With no memory, we made you one of us.
And in a word to describe the directing in this movie, it is serviceable. There's absolutely really nothing fantastic about it, and there's nothing atrocious about it, besides the pacing. I felt the pacing was really slow in the first half, and then it started to pick up a little bit more in the second half, but there's still not that many just great moments in the movie. Like, the assignment in the movie is fairly even keel all throughout. Like, if I ever watch this movie again, which I kind of doubt I will, I'm not going to be trying to fast forward or rewind certain moments. I'll just watch it in the background. I mean, the movie looks fine, the effects looks fine. Like I said, it's just serviceable. So I give it a 6.5 out of 10. That brings our weighted average score to a 7.1 out of 10, barely scathed over 7. But I don't think anyone needs to rush out and see this movie. I don't think I'm ever going to see this movie again, really. But spoiler alert, I would really love to have a sequel. I think they set up a lot of great foundation for a sequel, especially further down the line, including Monica Rambeau. I really love that family dynamic that they all have with each other. And also, you can kind of explore the sidekick aspect in the Marvel Universe. Or at least you can explore the idea of really having legacy characters. And that's actually a great idea for the Marvel Universe. I mean, that's a great idea for any superhero universe in general. Because we know in the comic book universe, legacy is a huge, huge thing. And let me know what you think about Captain Marvel. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And sincerely, thank you for watching. I'm out.